Hello, everyone. It is DJ, your faithful host here on Crips and Corks. Just doing a quick disclaimer here at the top of the episode. We had some technological difficulties with the video, so you're not actually going to be able to see us, which is really disappointing because I was doing the entire face cam for this episode. But you know how it is when you are an independent podcast and you're running everything on your own. But this is a really good episode and we hope you enjoy it anyways. So remember, enjoy and keep your crips tight and your corks loose.
Okay, I need you to give her this message word for word. Molly, you're in danger.
Now you can't just blurt it out like that. You're gonna scare her. You gotta ease into these things. I'm just gonna do it in my own words. Molly, you in danger, girl. And welcome back to another episode of Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, here with my co-host,
Paul, the not-so-goody-goody gumdrop, as usual.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, if you recall last week, it was the goody-goody gumdrop episode, and I have since been scorned. The sad boy era is upon us. Which, my blessing for this week, Conan Gray, of course. I know you didn't ask, but sometimes you don't have to let the people ask you. Sometimes you can just go for it.
At this point, I just know when it comes to our introduction, you're going to be the Dom DL top who just bulldozes your way in without asking me what I want.
Exactly. I'm glad you finally accepted this.
Yeah.
Just like the good little submissive co-host.
Paul likes to say he is a soft, or a blue-eyed soft top. He is not. He is a DL. Mask for mask.
Mask for mask. Toxic trade. But this...
Sorry, Kathy.
This blue-eyed soft top has been scorned. This new sad boy album has got me feeling things.
Yes, I know.
No, it's a good album. It's a good album. That's why it's my blessing for the week.
And we're going to go see him live.
We are going to see him live. We're not going to tell you guys which show, so you can't find us.
I think it's pretty obvious which show we're going to.
No, it's not, DJ.
Okay.
We have to maintain our privacy.
Okay.
Our privacy. Maybe we're going to see that twink in fucking Chicago or something.
Okay.
Yes. No.
What about your curse?
So my curse, so I have these earbuds, right? They're the wireless earbuds, like
the red
AirPods,
ones.
but they're Beats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to step on the train.
No.
One of them falls off under the train! My one earbud fell off under the train, and so I've been walking around with one earbud until I pull the trigger and spend $40 for a new earbud.
Okay, well, there are two silver linings to this. I also have knockoff AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
But mine don't work unless both of them are connected. So at least yours works independently of the other one.
That is good. That is good. Mine aren't knockoff.
Other
they're
blessing,
just Beats.
when I bought them, even knockoffs were like $120.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you can get them for $40 now.
Blessing.
So.
Well, it's just one earbud, and I have to get it off some weird website. I tried to see, like... if
you're not going to get a new pair?
No, I'm just going to get a new earbud.
Oh. Okay.
It's a lot cheaper than $100 for a new pair.
Christmas is coming up.
We're not rolling in money over here at the Crips and Corks, okay? We got one earbud money. We don't have a whole new set money, okay? Listen, we gotta buy this wine each week. Times is tough.
Times is hard. Times is hard.
Speaking of hard times, what's your blessing and curse?
Blessing, I'm going to agree with you. Conan Gray's new album was released. I've been waiting for it for a very long time. After this, we do have to watch Carmel because I didn't end up watching it yesterday when it came out.
Yes.
And, you know, I watched the music video for the other two in the cycle with you, so I only feel it's best if I experience it with you. Curse.
Damn, now I feel like a whole jerk watching it at midnight when it came out.
No, because you did that with the other ones too. Well, you, like, watched them, like, weeks before I did because I was in Portugal. Oh, I am back from Portugal now. We are
He made it
caught
back.
up. But Curse, there's been a lot of strife in our friend group.
There has been a lot of strife.
I've had to make some decisions that are best for my personal health and well-being and cut some people off, and that's always hard to go through these changes, but
Turn and face the strange changes.
I thought you were gonna sing a sad song.
No. Yeah. There's been a lot of strife, but we don't bring our personal life. If things are too personal, we don't bring that up on here.
Yeah, we try to leave as much detail as possible, but
Yeah.
that it has been a curse that you and I have both had to deal with the fallout of that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fallout this week, and I'm not talking about the video game. Or Fallout Boy, unfortunately.
Well, Paul, I believe there's some things going on in pop culture that you want to discuss.
My gosh. We're back, guys. We are back! Taylor Swift announced her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. It's going to be 12 tracks. Comes out October the 3rd. So y'all better get your lives together. Be sat, ready, and just be ready and set for Taylor Swift to release this new album. Because I'm going to be sat. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be there with my little pen, annotating the lyrics, memorizing. And I hope this album is a lot better than Tortured Poets was, because you guys...
I like Tortured Poets.
I did not really... Not my favorite album.
But it also seems to be the theme that if you like an album, I don't. And if I like it, you don't. Because we have different tastes. Also, I have to laugh because I can see our audio levels from here. And, like... They're also nice and even and just small because neither one of us is extremely loud. And then Paul starts talking about Taylor Swift and literally, so it's red and then the pink area is where our volume is. His area turned completely pink.
I like it pink.
He was yelling it so loud that the audio was just like loud.
I guess you could consider that one in the pink.
Okay. I don't get that reference.
One in the pink, two in the stink.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't believe I had to explain that to you. But
it's been a long fucking week.
It's been a long time coming.
Anything else for Pop Culture Corner?
Just ready to stop clowning for Reputation. We know we're not going to get it because she owns it now.
Yeah.
Makes me super sad, but I'm excited for this new era. Orange is not my favorite color, but I'll forgive her for that because she's running out of colors.
Yeah, but also I am really glad that she owns all of her music now because it was getting very annoying to try and find Taylor's version of everything to listen to.
Yeah, and no.
Because you would type, like, I type in, I don't know, 1989, and the first thing that came up was the original that Scooter Braun had owned.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I gotta scroll down.
Yes. Oh well, what can you do?
Oh well.
Sorry, I didn't mean to zone out. I was thinking about something else.
All the money goes towards Taylor now. It's okay. I zoned out earlier because we started talking about our weeks, and I went, holy shit, we have a podcast.
We do have a podcast. Unfortunately for you guys.
Yes.
And while we got your attention, before we get into the alcohol, right in between, we're done with Pop Culture Corner, unless you have something to say.
No.
Go on over and watch our Uncorked. So, because we are going to be unpacking DJ's trip to Portugal. Yes. Annabelle murdering that guy. And
getting leased out.
Oh, yes. And we have a lot to say about Matt Rife.
Yes, we do.
Lots to be said about Matt Rife. So go over to our YouTube channel and watch the newest Uncorked that will be dropping. Not sure when, but probably before this even comes out. But we'll see.
Yeah. The idea is that we don't do a lot of editing on Uncorked. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that we're going to record it and get it out as soon as possible because it is now 15 days late.
Well, a couple months late because we haven't done one in a couple months.
Yeah, it's been a busy time.
Like Taylor Swift, it's been a long time coming.
Unfortunately, this is not our full-time job. If it was, we would be able to produce endless streams of content. We'd be able to do the Uncorked. We'd be able to do a lot more bonus episodes. We'd be able to do Patreon content that's exclusive. But we're not there yet, and we need y'all to like and comment what you like about us to get us moving up the ranks so more people join our cult.
Rate us 5 stars.
Join the cult that either worships or shuns Ellen DeGeneres. We're not sure. We'll have to ask Clefairy.
We will have to ask
our
Clefairy.
In-house faith advisor.
Yes. We love Clefairy. And if you don't know who Clefairy is at this point, are you even a Crips and Corks fan? Are you really
Clefairy
OG
will
fan?
soon be known. We will also have to ask Cheryl, who's in charge of HR.
Very that. But for now, DJ, would you like to get into some alcohol?
I've been waiting.
Period. So, today, we will be drinking Alamos. 120 years of family winemaking. Their Malbec from Mendoza, Argentina, aged from 2023. Cultivated by the Catina family for over 120 years, Alamos wines are born in the vineyards of Mendoza, Argentina, at the foothills of the Andre Mountains, with a focus on sustainability. Bodegas Alamos pioneered. The introduction of the Bodegas de Argentina sustainability protocol, setting the standard for sustainability in the region, Alamos Malbec displays hints of dark cherry and blackberry, with a long and lingering finish. I know a little something about that. Try pairing with grilled meats. I love a grilled meat. Let's open it. Let's see what happens. Make sure there's no cork in there. All right, let's get into it. Ooh, no pop this time. Sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
That one's on God's hands, not me. Okay, let's start pouring this shit.
Yes. Thank you.
ASMR pour number dos. Trace if you're nasty.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I like that.
She's dry, bitch.
She's not that dry.
Ooh, that's a little too dry for me. I do like a dry wine, but she's a little too dry for me. I'm gonna give that 3 grapes. You know what?
No,
2
I
and
like
a
that.
half. I'm giving that 2 and a
I
half.
like that. I'm gonna give it 4.
That's crazy about you.
No, I like that.
Yeah, she's just a little too dry for me. She's not awful, not the worst wine I've tasted, but 2.5 grapes.
No, that's nice. That's very nice. It's different, unusual, very nice.
Very different, very unusual.
Very different, very nice. Very unusual, very nice.
Speaking of different and unusual, DJ, let me tell you a story.
Please do.
Gold discovered out west. Pack up your families and head west to claim your untold riches. The land is full of gold and minerals just begging to be claimed. Bring your equipment, 35 days worth of food, and start your journey. Just beware of the severe weather, dangerous animals, and each other. Prospectors come at your own risk to the wild, wild west. That's right. Today we're going to be tearing into the story of one of the most infamous prospectors, Alfred Packer, the man dubbed the Colorado Cannibal.
Damn it.
What?
I was really hoping you were going to say we were going to do the Oregon Trail.
No. You knew what the episode was.
I know, but I wanted an Oregon Trail joke in there so bad.
Well,
something about dying of dysentery.
We're going to do the Donner Party eventually, but the Alfred Packer story came across my desk and I found it very interesting. So I thought this is my grand finale before our 100th episode.
Yeah, episode
which
99.
is next week. So this is my last episode I'm presenting to you guys before I'm on the other side of 100 with you guys. So I thought this was a good story and a good finale to finish it off on. Now, do you know anything about Alfred Packer?
You just said that he was the most infamous Colorado prospector ever, and so I came up with a joke that he was the Coloradist. Like rad, but Colorado. Like
Okay.
raddest,
Yeah.
but like with Colorado. Coloradist.
We'll table that one, sweetheart.
I'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop
I'll
it
workshop
for sure. And honestly, when I was writing that intro, I never realized how hard it is to do a prospector accent. Because I'm not sure if what I did came off as prospector.
No, it kind of came off as goofy.
Goofy. I was trying so hard. But even when I would go to YouTube and try and look up prospector accent, the only thing is that SNL skit with Will Ferrell.
Oh, can I give it a try?
Yeah.
I'll just do a couple lines. Yeehaw! Go discover that West. Pack up your families and head west to claim your untold riches.
Okay. Okay, that was funny, actually.
This is like
Oh
when you
my
made me
God.
do the on the live the other night.
Oh, the donkey noise.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm not going to do it again because this is for posterity.
This is for posterity.
So tell me what I should know about Alfred Packer. What did he do? What was his credit score? What was his star sign?
Girl, we'll get into it, don't worry. But first, I'm going to shout out my main source for this episode. It's an article titled The Mystery of Alfred Packer from Colorado Life magazine. Among other sources, of course, but that one was the most in-depth one I found. So, born January 21st, 1842, and nowhere else but Allegheny County, Pennsylvania.
You're shitting me.
He was born near
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Alfred Packer was a prospector and self-proclaimed wilderness guide who went on to be known as the Colorado Cannibal, like I said. So, Packer had 3 siblings, a brother and 2 sisters, whose names, of course, as usual, do not matter.
Because he ate them in the womb.
DJ, we're not to the cannibal part of the story yet.
Sorry, it was right there.
Jesus Christ. Now, Alfred's father moved the family to Indiana in 1850 to work as a cabinet maker.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about corn.
No,
Okay.
he made cabinets. Now, Alfred did not have a good relationship with his parents and moved to Minnesota in his late teens and became a shoemaker.
Oh, he was a cobbler.
He was a cobbler. How do you feel about a cobbler? I don't like cobbler.
I like a blueberry cobbler, but not peach. Just because I don't like many peach pies because they're in that really sweet syrup.
Yeah.
I like fresh peaches, but I don't like peach flavoring.
Yeah, see, I don't like fruit pies or cobblers in general. I can make a small exception for apple, but that's it.
Okay, now I have a question. I'm sure you don't like lemon meringue pie because that is too close to a fruit pie. But how do you feel about a coconut cream?
I'm messing with the coconut cream.
Okay.
I love a cream. And actually, I do like a lemon meringue.
You do?
I'll do a little lemon meringue.
Okay.
I'll do a couple bites of a lemon meringue. We'll get
Okay.
up in that gig. Just a little bit, though. Now, Packer would enlist in the Union Army in 1862, only to be discharged due to epilepsy.
Oh.
And he must have really had a good time because he tried again with the 8th Iowa Cavalry Regime, but got discharged again.
Wait, so the infantry, the foot soldiers said, we can't have you because you have epilepsy. So he said, okay, I'm going to join with the horses.
Yes.
Because if I have a seizure on the horse, it's going to be fine.
Right, exactly.
What can go wrong?
I like to think of him as he either really likes war or really hates racists. Because he was fighting on the good side of the Civil
Yeah.
War.
Well, the main causes of that war were slavery
Yeah.
and the right to continue having it. But to individuals, it was more, we were fighting for the soul of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, will we remain as one country, one destiny, or is it just going to be every time someone gets mad, they can break off and form their own country?
Well, that was another history segment with DJ. You're welcome, people.
Thank you.
After this, Packer traveled west. After he was discharged from the army, he traveled west and worked many jobs. He was a miner, hunter, wagoner, and wilderness guide, just to name a few. Now, he was bad at most of these, and most people disliked him and distrusted him.
Okay.
People said he was a pathological liar, had a poor attitude, and had a reputation for theft.
Now I'm starting to wonder if he actually had epilepsy or if that was just the excuse the army used to get rid of him.
No, he actually had epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
And actually,
sorry to doubt him, but I heard pathological iron.
One of the funniest things about these jobs is when he was a guide, he was very prone to getting lost, which is like the entire job. Your job as a guide is not to get lost. So he was like the worst guide around because he kept getting people lost.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So this brings us to where our story really begins, at Bingham Canyon, Utah, when Packer joined a party of 21 men trying to find gold in the San Juan Mountains in late 1873. Now, Packer would claim he traveled the Colorado mountains a lot and knew the area well, and he would be a good guide. This, of course, was a lie.
Yeah.
As we know, he's not a good guide and very prone to getting lost and not really from Colorado.
This is like when my grandfather says, "No, I can use the Waze. I know how to use it."
Right, exactly.
He doesn't know how to use the Waze.
Like the Waze app? Like with the maps and everything?
Yes.
That's so funny.
He also calls it the waves.
The waves.
The waves.
I like that better. We're riding the waves. But also riding the waves is when you like get crossfaded and then you get sick. So maybe that's not good. Anyway. So the group, like everyone else, did not like Packer right out of the gate. And they described him as, quote, sulky, obstinate, and quarrelsome. He was a petty theft willing to take things that did not belong to him, whether of any value or not. Now, there is some speculation that they really didn't like Packer because of his epilepsy. There was stigma around the epilepsy at that time.
Yeah, there was a lot of stigma around.
So there are some theories that his epilepsy really added to the hatred that he was receiving.
But also, he could have just been a klepto.
Honestly...
Just the way he steals, like, petty theft, stealing something, whether it has value or not.
Well, if that many people are saying you're stealing shit, you're probably stealing shit.
Yeah, and I mean, like, with kleptomania, it's like you see a pen you like and you just have to take it. Even if it's not a particularly nice pen.
Right, exactly. Now, there is one actual story about the seizures and the epilepsy. As they were on this trip, they were all sitting, like, around the campfire. And he broke out into a seizure and fell into the fire and knocked over a boiling pot of coffee on his face. And no one really jumped up to help him. So he kind of just struggled for a bit. Now, he survived, of course. But that just tells you, like, how much these people didn't like him. That he, like, went into a seizure, fell into the fire, and everyone was just like, oh no, that's awful.
Anyone got kerosene? You got kerosene?
It'd be a shame if he were to just
burn to death.
Oh my
this
gosh,
is so...
that's not funny. But...
Okay, that reminds me. Do you remember Glozell?
Yes.
She used to tell a story. Her parents, like, owned a pharmacy or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an employee who had epilepsy. And one day he, like, had a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother was like, we need to stick a spoon in his mouth so he doesn't swallow his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a fight to, like, get it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, started coming around. And he, like, came out into, like, wherever they were all sitting. And he was like, I'm sorry, I think I had a seizure, but... where did all my teeth go?
They knocked out his teeth?
Because they had, like, a big, like, metal stirring spoon, and I guess they, like...
I don't think that's true. Because do you know how bloody he would be? I don't think he'd be able to talk with how much blood there would be.
I don't know. But that's all I can think of is just, like, when you said, like, he had a seizure, I thought you were going to say they stuck, like, a axe in his mouth and knocked all his teeth out.
No... And honestly, they probably weren't that educated about seizures to know to do something like that. They kind of just let him do his thing. Oh, Packer's just shaking again. That sort of thing.
We call him Quaker Oats because he's always shaking.
He's always quaking. That's awful. Jesus. So, during the first part of the trip, things were already off to a bad start. Food became scarce, and the weather became harsh as winter hit. They had resorted to eating livestock feed because it had, like, they just ran out of shit. Was it. So they started eating the livestock feed. But some relief did come in January of 1874 when they reached the Ute Indian camp of Chief Ouray in Colorado. Now, this is near present-day Delta, Colorado. Chief Ouray helped the men out by giving them food and supplies. Now, this is actually an interesting story, because when they first got there, the Indians, they were very skeptical, and they were actually about to murder them, because they thought they were trying to invade their land, and, we're going to stop and try and settle there and take their land. But then when they were like, no, we're going to the mountains to try and find gold and whatever, the Indians come down, and then they were welcomed, and then the chief actually helped them out, gave them food, shelter, things like that, because, middle of the winter and they lived there, they know how to survive, they got all the food and everything, right? Chief Ouray warned them not to continue until spring or risk death.
Makes sense.
Yes. He said no Ute tribe member would attempt the journey to the San Juan Mountains until spring, because, again, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They live on the land, they do the thing. But 5 men plus Packer refused the advice and decided to keep going anyway to reach the gold. Now, Chief Ouray knew he couldn't stop them and told them to travel east for 7 days to the government cattle camp near Gunnison, then follow creek south to the Los Pinos Indian Agency, from which it would be a relatively easy 40-mile trek to Sagachi, which I guess is part of the San Juan Mountains where they were going. Now, when the crew left, they got lost almost immediately. Because, shocker, they don't know where the fuck they're going, I imagine. Alfred was leading them.
Wait, east? I thought you said weast.
Exactly, it's very that. I thought you said very that. And again, they quickly ran out of food and resorted to eating each other's goatskin moccasins.
Oh no, not the moccasins.
Which is really interesting because I had never heard, or even realized, leather and, animal products like that. They're still animal products, so you can eat them. Yeah. I was listening to something about the Donner Party, and they started eating their leather goods, and I was like, oh shit. I guess that is part of a cow, so I guess you really can
eat it. Just it's dried and cured to the point where it's really not that edible.
Right, you're not going to get that much nutrition out of it.
No.
But they did resort to eating their goatskin moccasins, unfortunately. Now, it turned to day 20 of their supposed to be 7-day trip when the group, starving, cold, and desperate, settled at a pine-shaded gulch near a plateau by the Gunnison River. A place that would come to be known as the Cannibal Plateau, or Dead Man's Gulch.
I like Dead Man's Gulch.
I felt your gulch before, and it was, surprisingly moist. I don't know how you keep it so moist there, but so you'll have to teach the children that sometime. But anyway, more about Dead Man's Gulch later.
That's what they call my gulch.
It's Dead Man's Gulch. No one makes it out alive.
I killed a man with my gulch once.
Because it was so moist.
He drowned?
He drowned in your gulch. Don't you hate when they drowned in the gulch?
Went to eat it out, just drowned in it.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
I'm sorry to everyone. Yeah, there's no coming back.
Everyone else is used to this. I feel bad your mom has to listen to this.
It's fine.
You were so worried this was going to be a very dry and boring episode. It has been anything but.
Yes, you're doing a good job keeping the children entertained with your gulch.
If you'd like to see images of my gulch, please subscribe to my OnlyFans at...
Now, on April 16th of 1874, Packer emerged alone from the woods to the Los Pinos Indian Agency near Sagulch, Colorado. I guess that's not near those San Juan Mountains. Excuse the fuck out of me. So, on arrival, he met some of the members of the original party who waited with the Indian tribe. And of course, they asked him, what happened to the other guys? And Packer claimed they had left him and forced him to survive only on rosebuds and small game. This, of course, made them suspicious.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I have survived on rosebud for quite some time,
I know you have.
And I've become...
How is your ex?
He's doing great. And I've become quite fond of rosebud. And so I don't feel too bad for him for surviving only on Rosebud. They also grew suspicious when upon entering town, Packer was now able to afford a new stagecoach and horse. He even went on a card playing and drinking spree at the local saloon. Because when they left him, he was nearly penniless. Now, 2 weeks into his spending spree, Charles Adams of the Los Pinos Indian Agency confronted Packer.
Was that like Gomez's great-grandfather?
Charles Adams? Maybe. Maybe he started the whole thing. You never know. Now, he confronted Packer and asked where he got the money. Now, Packer said from a local blacksmith. And of course, as you might have guessed.
What was his explanation? Well, the local blacksmith was dying and he didn't have any air, so he decided to give it to me.
It's very that, because that turned out to be a lie. He went over to the blacksmith and the blacksmith was like, girl, that's not true. I didn't give that bitch no money. Now. So.
What? He said I died? I'm not dead.
Adams pressed Packer more, and on May 4th, we got the first confession from Packer.
Oh no, not the first.
This is what Packer said according to Colorado Life magazine. They were lost. An old man Swan died of hunger. The party cut meat from his body and traveled on for a few days until the death of Humphrey, who was also eaten. Days later, Packer went off to gather firewood, returning to find Miller had been killed by the 2 remaining men. Bell later killed Noon, and later, still, he tried to club Packer with his rifle but missed. Breaking it against a tree, Packer shot and killed Bell when he had the chance, took a large hunk of his body for food, and kept hiking.
I'm gonna call bullshit.
Why would you call bullshit on just the first confession? Even the fact it's the first confession.
First of all, if they all hated him, why wouldn't they kill him first?
You know, that's a good point.
Second of all, I don't know. The fact that he ended up with all the money, I think he killed them all at one time.
Interesting theory. Well, let's keep going.
And stole their valuables. Because are you telling me that, like, one person dies, they eat them and steal their valuables, and then another person dies and they add their valuables into the loot?
I mean, that makes sense, actually. What are they going to do? Just leave their valuables? This is the Wild West, DJ. They got bills to pay.
When you're in a survival situation, you're thinking less about gold and you're thinking more about things that are going to help you get back to civilization.
That's a good point, too.
Because if you're taking a bunch of gold, that's, like, a lot of unnecessary weight that, like...
That's true.
And also space that could be going towards something essential to helping you last 3 extra days.
Those are all good points. I can't argue with any of those. And, as we know, he has a reputation for theft, that Packer does.
Yeah. And there's a reason why in all those, like, Indiana Jones movies, the person who, like, tries to grab the treasure last always ends up dying.
T. Well, let's keep going, and we'll see what you continue to think. So after this confession, they wanted to find the bodies of these men to bury them and so they can be at peace, you know? Give these men's bodies some peace, some dignity, and respect. Now, for some ungodly reason, they made Packer lead the search for the bodies. You know, Packer being the great guide he is.
West? I thought you said north!
Right. But honestly, low-key, I bet their, like, rationalization was that he remembers where the bodies were. I imagine you'd probably remember, too, where you resorted to cannibalism. But it is no surprise that Packer did not remember. Well, didn't remember, air quotes, quotation marks, whatever.
I don't know. There was a tree there, and I don't see that tree around there. It was a tree, and it kind of looked like a fork. You mean like that tree? Yeah, like that tree, but not like that tree. It had 3. You mean like that tree over there? Oh, it was a pine tree. The pine tree over there?
No, that tree's the jerkin tree. That's where man goes to have its private time.
No, it was a beehive, and I used it as a fleshlight.
Not the beehive. Well, it is winter, so maybe the bees were dead, so... like a little thrill.
Honey makes great lube.
No.
Although the bears, they start chasing me, not the bears I like.
Exactly.
I'm more of an otter man myself, but I'll go with a bear in a pinch, you know.
You'll make an exception in the Wild West. There's not many to choose from.
Yeah, but all the bears, they can smell the honey and they just started chasing me.
What are we doing, DJ?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
It's kind of like when you find a funny joke, you just run with it for way too long.
That's so true. That's so true. Now, they eventually got tired of packing them, weighting them, Packer leading them every which way, not finding the bodies and stuff. And so they decided, hey, we're not finding shit here. We're turning around. And upon returning to town, they threw Packer in jail. Now, Packer spent months in that jail, but no bodies turned up or evidence, and they had no real charges against Packer. Plus, the townspeople started getting upset that their taxpayer dollars were going towards keeping Packer locked up.
Yeah, and this is kind of against the Constitution. Like,
Again?
they don't really have... Like, they have to charge him with murder.
I mean, do that... I mean...
To continue keeping him?
Yeah, to continue keeping him.
Yeah, the law is, like, the government cannot hold you without charge, and they have to charge you within 24 hours or release you.
Right. So it was unconstitutional, but the laws at this time, again, they're out in the Wild West, like...
The law was more of a suggestion.
Exactly. The law was very slowly making its way out west. So, like I said, they were upset, though, because their tax dollars were going towards keeping Packer locked up there for really not much of a reason. So one night, someone slipped Packer a penknife to get out of his shackles, and he disappeared into the night. And everybody lived happily ever after, and God is good, and there was never a tear shed in the world again.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
There is no God like Jehovah. There is no God like Jehovah.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns in truth and light.
Yeah, period. But unfortunately, that's actually not what happened. He did disappear into the night, but all was not lost. All was not said and done, and there were many tears shed afterwards. It wasn't long after his escape that a traveling illustrator for Harper's Weekly stumbled upon the bodies of 5 butchered men.
All in one place?
Yep.
All in one place.
Yeah.
All in one place.
Bitch, you got me there. You can stop at 5 or 6 stores, or just one.
Kohl's.
I bet he got a lot of Kohl's cash after butchering and eating all those men.
That's why he did it. He wanted the Kohl's cash.
Oh my god, yes. He was aiming to get the Kohl's cash. The Packer cash, if you will.
Oh no.
Now, each of their heads had been bashed in by a hatchet, except for one who was headless.
Oh no.
Now, once it was confirmed these were Packer's companions, the search for Packer was back underway. They're coming to find Packer. Now, disappointingly though, it wasn't until 9 years later when Jean Frenchy Cabazon, one of the original party members that traveled with Packer, was working as a peddler at a mining camp in Wyoming.
Get your pedals. Get your pedals. You want some pedals? I got pedals for you.
Could you imagine they were actually selling flower petals to the miners?
I was thinking like bicycle pedals.
Bicycle pedal? That's almost more funny.
Yes.
But also it's kind of funny to think of these
I
miners.
know you don't got a bike, but you need a pedal.
Exactly.
And I do know that peddlers didn't sell pedals. They sold knickknacks and goods, but it was a lot funnier.
So, Frenchie came across a familiar-looking miner who called himself John Schwartz. It took a moment, and then it set in who this was. Alfred Packer, living under a false name. Now,
I'd recognize that bee-stung dick anywhere.
there's just a huge bulge in his pants because he's so swollen.
But
from
it's
the big sting.
but it, like, you know, like there's individual bulges.
Yeah.
From all the different stings. There's not one bulge.
Oh my gosh. It looks like he's smuggling cherries in there.
Yes.
That's crazy. Now, Frenchie quickly alerted the local police, and Packer was arrested. Now, once Packer's identity was confirmed, he was shipped by train back to Denver for trial. Once he arrived, 1,000 people were waiting to catch a glimpse of the Colorado Cannibal, because at that time, the newspapers, that was all the headlines. Monster, Colorado Cannibal, all this stuff against Packer. Like, kind of what happened to Cropsey, right?
Yes.
Like, all the media hype, because this was a huge story back in the day. Like, he ate his companions.
Fake news. I didn't eat anyone they consented to be eating.
Well, he already, like, admitted in the first confession that he...
Fake news. It was coerced. It was coerced.
Exactly.
I'd never been to Colorado. Although I'm sure it's a lovely place. You should see Mar-a-Lago. I prefer Mar-a-Lago, not Colorado. I'm done.
Period. Because it's time for the second confession.
How many confessions are there in all?
I can't tell you yet.
Oh, okay.
He said what actually happened was that they had all actually made it to Dead Man's Gulch when they were setting up camp, and Packer went to the mountain by himself to get a better view of the way to go. So he went up to try and get a look of the way to go. But when he had returned, all of his comrades were wrapped in blankets, except for Bell, who was sitting by the fire. When Bell noticed him, he charged Packer with the hatchet, and that's when Packer shot him sideways through the belly. That was the quote. Sideways through the belly. When Bell fell, Packer took the hatchet and finished him off, striking him in the head. After that...
Okay, if he's charging right at him, how are you going to shoot him sideways through the belly?
Honestly, I'm not sure what he meant by sideways through the belly, because it could mean, like, sideways, like, this way. Like, if you're looking at me, like, sideways that way.
Yeah, like, this way.
Like, but going through him, kind of more, like, diagonal through the body. You know what I'm saying?
That's not very sideways. That's more diagonal.
Yeah. Packer probably didn't know about diagonal. Maybe they didn't invent diagonal back then.
Although he... Okay, I don't want to, like, give Alfred Packer, like, the benefit of the doubt. But if Bell's charging him and Alfred jumps out of the way, and as he lands and, like, Bell's going past him, shoots him through the belly that way.
I could see it.
But you'd have to have the...
Reflexes?
Reflexes.
Reflexes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Reflexes of a cat.
Maybe he did. I doubt it. But maybe. Now, after that, Packer discovered everyone else was dead. Bell had killed them, wrapped them in the blankets. And
For their valuables.
that is when Packer discovered a piece of meat that was roasting on the fire. This piece of meat was from the leg of one of his comrades, Miller. Ironically, Miller was a German butcher. After this...
Und eat me. I want to be eaten. Please just eat me. I cannot take it anymore. Look, I will help you cut the shank off. We've got the shank. We got the rump. We got the fillet.
Okay, Alfred Muse. Which...
Foreshadowing.
Maybe foreshadowing, for sure. Now, after this, Packer tried to leave the camp, but snow made it impossible. So he searched the bodies and stole $70 from them.
Oh my god.
And out of starvation, he kept eating them because he was, like, trapped there, like...
But can we talk about how we started with, I stole $70 off their corpses?
Well, they're dead already, DJ. What is he gonna do? Just leave the money there?
But why wasn't it, like, I ate them to survive, and then once it cleared, then I sort of took their money?
They're dead, DJ. I'd take the money, too, if they're already dead.
I've told you many times, if we're in a survival situation, I will die first, eat my body to survive.
See?
But don't touch my valuables.
You never said the valuables part.
I know, I'm saying that now. I didn't think it had to be concerning, but now I know you're just going to pilfer my pockets.
Well, yeah, I'm taking all your shit.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm taking all your shit if you're dead.
Paul, you... literally, besides my brother and my cousin, you get the most in my will. You don't have to steal anything off me. Just wait for the will to go into probate.
I'm taking the shit that's in your pockets.
No! Just wait for the will to go to probate!
Why do you care so much about what's in your pockets? It's probably just your wallet and your phone.
Because if the pharaohs were right, I'm gonna need that in the afterlife.
Oh, well, we're not in
What
Egypt.
am I supposed to tell to Anubis?
We're not in Egypt, DJ. I don't know what to tell you.
What happens when I get there and Cleopatra says, "Excuse me, do you have a nickel for the washing machine?"
You don't even believe in that religion!
But what if they were right?
But what if they weren't? And I could have used that pocket change.
Then when I'm sitting up there with Jesus, I'll say, sorry, Paul.
Do you know how many taquitos I could get for your iPhone? That's a lot of taquitos, DJ. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess he said when he was trying to eat the meat, that it made him sick at first, so he had to eat it piece by piece.
Oh, yeah.
But he eventually got accustomed to it, because that was the only meat he could eat and everything, you know?
I hear human is rather like pork.
Yeah. Well, they do call humans long pig. Yep, they call it long pig, which I think you're actually the one who told me that.
I did.
Now, Packer ate the men until the snow let up and, went into town after that, and that's where I picked up earlier, right? When he came into town and started the spending spree and all that. So that is essentially his second confession, and it is also noted that when he came into town, it didn't look like he was, starving or anything, because he was eating all those dudes.
Yeah, and also, why wouldn't he go to the authorities immediately?
Well, he was probably scared and embarrassed. I mean, you resort to eating people. No one wants to eat anyone.
Well, but at this point, if it was spring, by the time they found the bodies, he could just claim, oh no, they've been ravaged by animals.
That's true. He could. I don't know. I don't want to get into my theories yet and things I have to say about this, so I'm going to keep continuing talking.
Okay, sorry.
So, that was his second confession, right? And then when he asked why he didn't give this version of the story before, Packer said, I was excited. I wanted to say something, and the story as I told it came first to my mind. Quotes. Those were quotes. You're welcome. So, Packer went on trial for murder and was tried and found guilty for the murder of these men.
Good.
Now, I will say, the only evidence we have right now is Packer's story. Now, we do have the bodies, but what happened up there is still a mystery, right? We don't fully know how many men Packer actually killed, or if Bell actually killed these men. And again, this is a survival situation, but he was found guilty, okay? Now, Packer was sentenced to be hung, but luckily his lawyer found a technicality that the murder statute on the books in 1874 had been repealed and replaced. And the replacement was without a savings clause. So it didn't have a savings clause. Not sure what a savings clause is. I tried to look it up.
Is that like an appeal?
It
like a chance for appeal?
I did try to look it up and try and figure it out, but I couldn't figure it out. So if you figure it out, let me know in the comments below.
Also, can I nitpick something?
Yeah.
A person isn't hung, they're hanged.
They're hanged. You're right, because...
A man is hung.
Yeah,
But hung. A man is hanged.
I'm hung, he was almost hanged.
Almost. Fuck.
Yes. I just told you, the lawyer got him off on the technicality. But instead, he was convicted of manslaughter and only had to spend 40 years in jail.
But he was probably old at this point, so 40 years would probably see him through to the end of his life, right?
Probably. But Packer insisted that this sentence only be for the death of Bell, because that's the only person he admitted to killing. Which, I don't know. While Packer was in prison, he was a model prisoner, kind to everyone, giving money to fellow inmates who needed it. He enjoyed gardening and other peaceful activities.
Oh.
One of the wardens described Packer as the soul of generosity who cares nothing of money. So there was a complete 180 somehow there. Now, this brings us
I nearly met my maker.
He almost did meet his maker. I mean, he could have died up there, but he didn't, so... Well, he could have also been hung, so I guess he almost met his maker twice. Yeah. Once in the mountains and once almost getting hung.
I nearly met my maker. I don't know whether that maker's God, Jehovah, or Osiris, but I nearly met him.
There's no God like Jehovah. There's no God like Jehovah. Okay.
Amazing Grace. That was Alfred Packer singing Amazing Grace.
You're welcome.
In the prison choir.
Get into it. You're welcome.
That was an actual recording.
Now, this brings us to a nice young fellow named Dwayne Hatch. Packer had helped Hatch as a teenager, sharing his camp with Hatch and helping him find work on a cattle ranch. Now, Hatch worked as a barber as the local barber where the prison was that Packer was staying at. And he would go and visit them, and the two actually became good friends. Now, upon different conversations, Hatch became convinced of Packer's innocence. because, like I said, not much evidence. The survival aspect of things, did he do what he needed to survive? Like, no one really knows. So he started a petition to, like, help try and get Packer out of jail. And he would have his barber patrons, the people would come in, he would give haircuts and be like, do you mind signing this? And he would start talking to people and start telling people, like, hey, maybe we should rethink this. There's a lot of things we don't know about this. There's two sides to every story. And, like, the media sensationalized things, calling him the Colorado Cannibal, the man-eater of the mountains, all sorts of crazy things. Like, again, what they did to Cropsey. Like, so he started reaching out. He even reached out to the governor. So people's minds started changing about Packer, right? And it was actually Governor Charles Thomas who finally released Packer on parole. He didn't give Packer a full pardon or anything, and the Packer and the governor actually reached an agreement that he was not able to profit off of his crimes or notoriety after he was released from prison.
So he can join Buffalo Bill's circus or write a book or...
Exactly.
Well, I doubt he could write a book to begin with because that requires being literate.
Exactly. And this is actually, like, probably one of the first accounts of, like, someone not being able to make money off their lawyer. Off their crimes, because it wasn't a law until, like, the late 90s, I think.
No, it was the clown.
Was it Gacy?
It was Gacy, because Gacy was selling his paintings.
Yeah. So that was what led to the law that people couldn't profit off their crimes.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it was Gacy.
Well, I feel like this is probably, like, the first, like, agreement. This wasn't a law or anything. This was just an agreement.
Yeah, it was a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, that he wouldn't profit off of his notoriety he got from being the Colorado Cannibal or his crimes or whatever. But he did get released on parole. And Packer lived out the rest of his days peacefully prospecting in the foothills southwest of Denver. And he died on April 24th, 1907. So, like... Cropsey, this story really did take a 180, right?
Right.
So at the beginning, we're getting all this stuff about him being a liar and cheat, and like then it comes out about the cannibalism stuff. But then he does this 180 in prison. Now, do you have any theories before I start talking?
Just mine one before where I think he killed all of them.
I could see that, honestly. I could see that. Because maybe he did get desperate and resorted to killing them because he knew he needed to eat something and he got desperate.
Yeah. And I also think it might have been something of... I think he overheard them talking about them leaving him.
I mean, they didn't like him, so that could be a thing.
So it was just like, we're gonna like sort of leave him and like... I think it was like something around the campfire where like he went to bed and it's like, we're gonna steal all of his supplies and we're just gonna leave him here and we're gonna leave like before daybreak.
Right. Or maybe like... he didn't overhear them and he was thinking like, oh, they're going to leave me. He got paranoid. And
or they're going to kill me.
Exactly.
And so he decided to kill them first. Or maybe he got caught stealing and he killed them all.
That could be a thing too. Honestly, we'll never truly know what happens. The only person that knows is Packer, and I don't trust any of his confessions at all.
See, I really thought there were going to be, like, 4 confessions, and the story was going to, like, change each time.
No. I mean, his story did change.
It changed drastically, but I was set for 2 more.
No. And one thing I do want to talk about briefly, too, is epilepsy and the effect it might have had on his brain, right? Because maybe, like, the epilepsy, like... maybe not the epilepsy itself even, but like maybe an injury from the epilepsy caused brain damage. And that's why like he was a pathological liar and stole and like even stealing things that aren't of value. Maybe he had some sort of brain damage that made him the way that he was. Now that doesn't excuse like anything he did, of course. Now I will give him the survival pass because like, was he doing what he needed to survive? And did Bell actually kill those people? Because I feel like if you're in that situation and they're already dead, what's to stop you? And you know you're going to starve to death if not. I think the real problem here comes from, did he kill them himself? Or did Belle do it? And was it out of desperation? Or did some of them just die from the weather? I don't think they died from the weather or whatever. I do think there was murder involved.
Yeah.
But
just the way they were all found in one place.
Exactly, with their heads bashed in. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they wouldn't have died from murder. Well, the weather, if their heads were bashed in.
No. And if it was like some natural thing, like a tree fell and like bashed their heads in, there'd be evidence of that.
That's true. Now, do you think Packer had like a come to Jesus moment before he went to prison that turned him around? Or
no, I think it was when he was nearly hanged.
That's what turned him around, you think? Because he really did do a complete 180. People went from describing him as an awful person to all of a sudden he's God's gift to us all.
Yeah, I think it was when he was nearly hanged. Mm-hmm. I think he made a bargain with God that he would change his ways. And I think, kudos to him, because like most people who bargain with God, they like say like, I'll be a better person, I'll go to church, I'll blah, 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 blah. And then they get saved and they don't. But like he seems, if he made a bargain with God, he actually did change his ways.
I've done that a couple times actually. I was like, God, if you give me this, we're gonna be cool. I'm gonna be a better person, and I'm never.
Yeah,
a better
and
person.
That's the thing. I don't bargain with God anymore. I just like ask him for something because here's the thing. I know myself.
You started bargaining with Beelzebub instead?
Not even that. I just know myself, but also my theory about God is just like he is like my dad, and it's like I'll ask him for this, and if he says no, he says no. If he says yes, then I'll be grateful.
Period. Okay, I like that. I like that. Now,
Paul and I have the best theological discussions.
We do. Now, one thing I do want to get your opinion on is the epilepsy. Do you think that might have had an impact on like his brain? Do you think he could have got brain damage from that? Do you think it's epislepsy? What role do you think that played?
I think the stigma of it affected his emotional and his emotional state and like caused him. Mm-hmm. I think he was sort of shunned, and that led him to like the petty thievery, the lying, and so on and so forth. But I don't think it had any neurological reasons for his behavior, because if so, we would see epilepsy being every white skinhead who shoots up a school would be claiming that he had epilepsy to get off for it.
I mean, that's true, but like epilepsy isn't something you can fake like that, like you have to like have seizures, like you can't really. I guess you could fake a seizure.
Well, no, because we talked about with Annalise Michel, there are forms of epilepsy where you don't have seizures.
Oh, I forgot about that. So, you're of the opinion that the epilepsy doesn't.
It didn't physiologically change his brain structure. Mm-hmm. However, I do think the stigma of it might have contributed to his turning to crime.
I feel the opposite. I think maybe he got like brain damage or something from maybe a seizure, maybe even an injury. Because one time he even
yes. If he had fallen and smacked his head, that could have caused something. Yeah. But I don't think the epilepsy itself,
like being on the horses in that infantry, has a
Cavalry.
Seizure. Cavalry, yeah.
I don't think he even made it that far in the
Probably
cavalry.
Not. Because at that point, when I was reading, he started like while he was in the army. He would have a seizure every couple days, and that's why they discharged him.
Oh.
So he was having them quite a bit for a while. Like, no, I imagine, like, there were periods of time when he didn't have them for a while, and then there were periods of time when he had more of them, I imagine. But that's just speculation. I didn't read that anywhere. That's my speculation. But now I did read where he was having them every couple days in the army. That is something I did read. But, yeah. No. See, the epilepsy thing does, like, strike a chord with me for him, though, and gives me a little more sympathy for him, I will say. Do you have any questions, any overall thoughts?
No, this was a really good one.
Yeah.
It made me think.
It is a thinker. This is like Cropsy. I'm going to have to do a funny episode next because my last one was Cropsy, if I remember correctly, and that was another serious one.
Well, our next one, there is plenty of fodder for comedy.
Yes, I promise next time I'll be funnier.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, my next one, there's plenty of stuff for funny. The one after that, not so much.
Now, I do have one final question for you, though, DJ. Smash or pass? Alfred Packer.
He's not that bad looking.
I don't know.
Like, for that era, I mean.
I'm gonna have to pass.
I'm gonna pass just because I know his story now, but, like...
I don't think he's attractive. I don't like the hair and I don't like the beard. Not my thing.
No, but when you see people from that era, he's definitely, like, on the more attractive side.
I could see it. And, yeah.
Like, he's not hideous.
He's not hideous, no.
When we said prospector, and I really kept, like, thinking, like, yeah, I found gold!
No, it's not like that.
Wee doggies!
Oh my gosh. Does he look like a cannibal to you?
He looks like a man who's going to do what it takes to survive.
So cannibal, okay. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't think he, like, eats... I don't think he's Hannibal Lecter, but I think, like, in that situation, he would kill somebody to survive.
Right. Now, of course, Packer... Wait, I can't even make that joke. I already said he was dead. I was going to try and say, of course, Packer is alive to this day, but I already told you guys he's dead. Excuse the fuck of me, but...
And he never remarried, which means he could have been a fudge packer.
I mean, there's a lot of time. Those men were alone a lot with nothing but men in those mountains.
Sorry, I've been wanting to make that joke since we started.
It's okay. No, those prospectors, they were alone in the mountains a lot with just men. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Yeah, I did like this story, though. It was fun to research, and it's unfortunate that we'll never fully know what happened, which we're coming across a lot of those stories. And yeah, let us know what you guys think.
It's kind of fun.
Why?
Not knowing, because it, like, leaves a little itch on the brain.
It does, and this one's a thinker.
Yeah.
Now, I am also curious in the comments. Let us know. Would you eat someone to survive? If you're stuck in the mountains, are you eating someone? If they're already dead, are you eating them? Let us know down below. And let us know what you think about Alfred Packer. I ripped some leg hair out with your iPad.
How?
This little crease! Take us away, DJ.
Anywho, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you are listening. If you have personal stories, please email us at our email that's listed below, and be sure to follow all of our socials. And you can also connect with us through DMs. Just make sure that all of your stories do go to the email address. You can find me at The Real Deej Powers on TikTok and on Instagram.
Sorry. And you can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And also remember to keep your crips tight.
And your quirks loose.
Bye! $50 million? Can I take that in 10s and 20s?